All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your live lighting critique. My name is Mike Tanzillo. I'm going to be joining you live to go over some student artwork here. Apologies for going on so late, but that's what happens when you got a couple kids during the time of COVID. It's the only time you can kind of get work done is in the middle of the night. So I thank you guys for bearing with me there. We are going to go through a few things. So first off, we have our a submission by Abishek, who sent over his nuke file because he was having some issues. So I want to go through that. And then we have a bunch of other still submissions and also one animated test to go through as well. So I will bring that over in just a second. So actually, let's do the animation first. That'll take me just 1 second to pull that up. And actually, we'll get in here. We'll do this guy first because we already got this going. So biggest thing that we wanted to take a look at was, so we've got this scene. This is Adam. Adam is our monthly lighting challenge for this month. And you can see that Abishek has gone ahead and broken out, fill light pass and rim light passes and key light passes and occlusion passes. And the two biggest things that he was struggling with was one, he wasn't able to pull a depth of field key. And the other one was that he was having an issue with just some other stuff. And so I just kind of want to take him through a couple things. So, it was getting the glows on the eyeball, on the eye dings. So the first thing that we want to do that I wanted to look at was just the way that the comp is structured here. I don't know if you can see, but we've got everything running through the A side. And generally speaking, you kind of want everything to come through the B side, and I'll show you why. And that's because when you're you can step through and you can see the buildup of it. What you want to be able to do is when you disable something, you want it to be able to turn it off on just that side. The other thing that's going to be problematic, and I will actually, let me jump down here to the bottom and I'll show you the ultimate result of the problem here. So we've got this scene and everything's built up fine. Cool. Now it's time to kind of go in and do some defocusing. And you had used a Z to focus and you were having difficulty because like you said, you were able to generate the Z depth. And then when you put it into Z to focus, it wasn't showing up. It's because and you need to check this, but you're pulling your Z data, and I think this is the problem. So you're pulling your Z data from your P function. So if you shuffle this out, you can see it's actually coming from a P, and there is no Z to pull from, and the Z to focus needs Z data in order to generate that. But the good news is that you have this information. So what you can do is you can legitimately just use a defocus node or a blur node, and you can pretty much get all that going well. The one problem is that you are pulling it all together, and no matter whenever you do that, no matter how you do it, whether you use the Z defocus or whatever, you're going to get internal edge issues. So you can see there's some like weird gnarly edges around around him. And that's going to happen from Z, but it's also looking like there's a black line around here, which I'll tell you why that's happening. That's happening because you are multiplying in additional alpha channels. Because there's two things that are happening. Number one, so let's just look at this operation here. So you've got, say you've got this key coming in, and you're plussing in a little bit of subsurface, right? You're also grading the subsurface a little bit. You're goosing it up, and then you're plussing it over. When you plus it over, one of the things you really want to pay attention to is this A channel and this B channel. Because what's happening is plus operation adds everything together. So it adds your A value, your red values, your blue values, your green values. And when you add A, you're actually adding your alphas together. And if you have semi-transparent alphas around the edges, and you start adding those together, you're going to start to see some black lines in your comp. because again, with the semi-transparency, when you start adding them on top of each other, it becomes a solid line, and then there's no RGB data in there to support that, so it becomes like a black line. Easiest way to fix that is you want to just not bring in the alpha channel from the A side and only bring it from the B side, and let the B side alpha just carry it through, because the alpha is going to be the same for each of these. The other thing that you want to do is after each one of these, we talked about this a little bit, but you want to unpremult each one. And what that's going to do is unpremult the alpha, and then before, and then you can like to use these examples, you do an unpremult through all of these, do all of your color corrections, and then at the very end, at the very bottom, you do a premult. And it should help. That's funny. I wonder why that's doing that. Oh, weird. Normally that's how that works. You may not have to, depending on how you generated your images here. But it looks like it's actually causing some wonkiness. But something to be aware of. Normally when you do that, you want to unpremult and premult your images. I'd have to look into that further. The other thing that you were talking about was the idings. So you've got them added in here. You got a little bit of a glow there. All you really want to do with this glow is just like really tighten it, because right now it's kind of big and fluffy. And then I also would say that you really kind of want to get your idings on the edge between the iris and pupil. So I would just kind of nudge them over a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit too far, because like the one on the right, I'm sorry, the one on the screen left side is, yeah, because it's like when that one falls in, this one's a little bit outside. So I would just like maybe just nudge that other one over a little bit. In terms of other things that you can do, so again, you want to really harden up this, or like soften this edge of this a little bit. And the best way to do that is to render the character separately from the couch and the couch separately from the background, and then layer them all together. And what I would do is I would put the Z to focus back behind the couch. So I keep everything in the couch, everything in the character in focus, maybe a little bit of out of focus on the couch, and then allow the background to get to about this level. Might be a little bit intense. We'll take that back down to about an 8. And then the other big thing that I want to do is I could pull a crypto mat on this, but I'm not really, let's see. Let's see if we actually have crypto mat set up here. Okay, but not actually set up. So what we're going to do is I just want to hue correct this background, because I want to show you something. So one of the things that's going on with this background is it's complementing the character pretty well, but it's falling in line with his value a little bit too much. So I'm wondering if we could just tone down the luminance back there a little bit. Oh, actually, we'll just tone down the blues. And seeing how darkening that wall color can really help the character pop forward. In terms of the lighting itself, I think that we've probably gone too far in cooling off the fill value. I think that was probably a little bit of an overcorrection on my part from the last iteration. So I think we could probably tone down blues on that, take down the greens, increase the red just a little bit, and then we'll dial this in. So like half of that value. So something a little bit closer to that, just pulling, like you want to keep a little bit of that cool in there, but you want to just pull that out just a little bit. Other than that, I think it's looking pretty well. I'm still not crazy about these posters back there. I guess maybe it's just like they're just too perfect. And once they get blurred out, I think, you know, maybe they'll be a little bit better. But yeah, once they're blurred, it's fine. But just something to keep in mind there. But I think overall, everything else is going well. I just think maybe a little bit more specularity on the skin would go a long way as well. All right, so now I wanted to hop into some of these still images. Yeah. Okay, So we've got Dani going through, make this bigger. So we've got Dani taking a look at some Joker reference here. Okay, so one of the things about the Joker reference is actually this light is actually pretty warm. If you look at it coming down on top of his head here, and what we're seeing here is just a lot of green values. And I think that you can pull out a lot of this green out of his face and warm up the color of it a lot. Let me just go ahead and do that real quick, just so you can see that. Like we can pull some of that out, and just looking at his skin tone, you know, you want it to be somewhere a little bit more in there. It's only because of the overall scene of it that we really that we were really seeing that in the Joker, like the just kind of the greens in his hair and stuff. Because when you look again at the white, it's kind of a warmer balance. So I would lean a little bit more that way. And then if you want to put some coolness on the environment around him, I think that would work out pretty well. You want to get some more value in the shadow up underneath his neck, and also feel free to favor it to one side or the other. There's no need to have to just come like straight down from the top on it, because like this is not a desirable shape. And just watch out for this brightness here. And then we really kind of want to just like it's feeling a little neutral in terms of the story. Like I'm not really sure what emotion I want to feel out of this. It's not quite as sinister as this one, because the biggest thing is we're not seeing these pockets under the eyes. Like we're seeing his eyes pretty entirely. So it's not like got that same sinister feel. So if you're going for that, I would definitely try and get some darkness more up and around his eyes. Forrest, really great start here. So love the scene. Love the Royal Tenenbaums. I think it's Royal Tenenbaums because he's got a shaped head. So I assume that's what it's from. Love the scene, love the setup, love the framing around the character. I think from the framing standpoint, I think you can, like the way that there's like nice breathing room here, I think you can push this over just a little bit. I know that's like a cinematography thing, but I just want to create a little bit more breathing room because this like tangent line right there is causing a little bit of energy. Here's a challenge for you is that it's tricky, but one of the things about this is that there is a little bit more value kind of down here, and it's causing from the bounce light. I'm wondering if you can shape some of the off-camera geometry to get that like that brightness more like right in the middle of his face here. So it's like just bringing that little value up into the right just a little bit, and it's really going to be through the bounce light. But overall, I think this is looking great. Like your values are hitting right on point. And yeah, I think overall, I think it's looking really good. You may be a touch too cyan, and you might want to put some more reds in there and make it a little bit more. Yeah, just a touch more in there, just to like let's just do that real quick. Somewhere along there. There we go. All right, cool. All right, Holly, love these adjustments. Depth of field here is a little bit too high. We'll just tone back the depth of field blur right in here. Take that down, and then we got to figure out a way to soften the edge of some of these windows a little bit, because they're just like a little bit too perfect all around. And I just want to, like, especially in here, I just want to like soften it just to create like a little bit of a glow. Not quite to this level, but the fact that these lights are nice and glowy and these are super crisp is kind of causing a disjoint. Also up around here, I'd want to just fix that up a little bit. And I think that would help out a lot. But other than that, really coming together well. I think this is looking really, really great. Ubaid, in your again, another Joker scene. This makes me miss the subway. I haven't seen the subway in a long time. I rode it many, many times a day, and now in the post-COVID world. So I pulled up some reference from this scene, and I'm thinking it's like a little bit too yellow, and I think we can pull out some of those yellow values, and I think that would help out a lot. Maybe push in just a little bit of green, maybe somewhere in there. Somebody else mentioned this in the comments, but yeah, these seats are getting a little bit dark. Outside, it's a little strange. I guess it's nighttime when the subway is outside, but normally this is running underground. So just more iconically, it's just going to be like dark out there, like you're in a tunnel, like a black tunnel. And then there's some like weird, like blue lines going across here. I would just watch out for that and just make that kind of, let's see if we can see it in either of the reference. Like it's kind of a reflective material, and it's kind of like, it's a weird thing. So they kind of like sprinkle this junk on it, and then it's like black with like sprinkled confetti and then sealed. So I would try and match that. These are never really red. So like they would never put a red sign on this on here, because that would just, unless the train was on fire or something. But usually those are actually, those are the digital signs that might be red, but they wouldn't glow up quite this much. Like immediately around it, it would more like project out. Yeah, so maybe I would take that down a little bit. And then the other thing was just looking at these reflection points on these metal bars. Yours are a little too crisp. They're just like a little too perfect metal. Like it's a little more rubbed down and than that. So it's just like a little bit more wear and tear. So Keven, great start here, coming together well. You mentioned having a lot of lights, and it kind of shows. Like there's getting a lot of flattening in the front of his face here. And one of the things that I would recommend is, after you've lit something for a while, and this is going to sound crazy, but go ahead and save this file, save out another version, and then delete all of your lights and start over again. Because lots of times what you end up doing is you will not really be sure how, like, the best way to approach something when you first start. So you add different things. And then once you kind of get it looking the way that you want, you just keep all of them in there, when really you will often only need half of them. So at this point, I would encourage you to kind of pull them all out and start again, because what's happening is it's like we're not getting a lot of these dark values, like in here on her eye, and up around here, up underneath her chin, we're getting some more darkness. And in yours, it's all just kind of filled in a lot, and it's creating a little bit more flattening and less shaping. So I think that would be your focus for the next step. And again, like up in the hat here, a lot of dark values that we can pull from, and it's all just kind of overly filled. In terms of this light coming in from the side, it's being pushed here is a lot of subsurface. You can have some subsurface, but that's a little bit strong. And also, even you kind of just want it around the tip of the ear, not so much in the dead center of it there. And then try and get a little bit of rim light on this side. You can see a little bit trickling down her side there. And then we'll eventually work on the eyes, but I think that would be a really good place to start. You can also, her skin tone got a little bit more warmth in it than his does. His skin tone's feeling a little bit desaturated. So I would work with that and get that going. And then we're going to pull up the last bit here. We've got the animated scene. I lost it. Give me just 1 second. Basically, so yeah, you guys can see all the beautiful work that's going on here. So here we go. All right, so basically Donika. That was a long build up to say that I think that this is good. I think you probably go ahead and render this with motion blur now. You get a good test at that. The one thing I question, and is this the most recent one? Actually, this looks a little bit different. Let's see. Hold on. Make sure I got the most recent one up. Because what I was looking at was that you did a really good job on your background of separating out. Yeah, here we go. Lots and lots of iterations. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you did a really good job of separating the background color a little bit more. And all in all, I think from the iteration that I saw, I think you're in a good spot. To watch. The one thing that I would say was just watch out for the spotlight at the end. It's just like it's throwing me off because when the spotlight hits the screen, it wouldn't be that different. But I think it's fine as long as the animators go with it. And then double check with the animator on motion blur because you may want to be adding that as well. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that tonight. If you have any questions, just let me know. Let me hop out over here in Facebook and see if we have any questions. Hello, everyone that's joining me live. I know it's late at night, and I appreciate you guys hopping in. But yeah, so stick with us. I'll have some more critiques on Friday, and then I hope anyone that's enjoying that signed up for SIGGRAPH, I hope you guys are enjoying it. It kicked off today. Jasmine and I are doing a talk on Tuesday in SIGGRAPH, so be on the lookout for that. We will send more information about that soon. So, all right, y'all. I will talk to you guys very soon. Happy lighting.